a society that we live in today is one a lot of people don't quite understand that it's really ours to shape. And the one thing that young people today especially have to understand is that, number one, there is no savior coming to save you anywhere. We have one, his name is Jesus. He died on the cross and that's it. And he's giving you everything else that you need to do what you need to do to build a future for your generation. And if we don't do it, it wouldn't be nobody else's fault but ours. The place where we have to get comfortable is that when we envision the future, we have to see a role for ourselves in it. And we have to choose, this is what I'm going to do to build myself up and to build my future and the future that I see, because then I have a role in that future. If you're not a participant in building that future, right, the reality is it will happen to you. The challenge we have today is that people expect very quick results. People are not willing to think too long term into the future. Everything 15 years from now will look different because our primary constituent will be a 15-year-old who is going to be more than half of the country. And I think today we really do have to start thinking in brand new ways about what that world looks like and what our contribution to that world will look like. And maybe we'll get on a better path if we do so.
The biggest lesson for me is that intention is the most powerful energy in the world. Intention. Everything else in the world supports intention. So if I wake up in the morning and I say, today my goal is I am going to make 100 people millionaires, even if I don't have the money, and that's really what I want to do, I might be able to find a way to make it happen.
Right.
But if I wake up in the morning and I say, today I want to make $1 billion and I don't care who I kill to make it happen, it doesn't matter what somebody's telling you. You're going to work the math back in your head to, how do I steal $1 billion from all these people?
When you moved to Flutterwave,
yes,
yeah, which was again in your tradition, you were the MD of this one, incredibly young, you know, you didn't change, you were still backpacking, you know, doing everything. How does that work as an, did that work as a CEO?
So, it works in a different way.
Right.
I think one is really understanding your strengths and leaning into them. You know, one of my favorite Bible stories is the one of David, where he fights Goliath and they give him armor and he's like, this one doesn't work for me. So I mean, what I learned that works in tech, and that works anywhere really, is tech gives you an ability to come down to the level of the person that you're working with, leave all the corporate bullshit behind, and connect with the person on a human level. And that was what worked for Flutterwave. The people that get this work done, they're interested in seeing progress. They have things they have to achieve because of their jobs. And my style of being CEO made it easy for me to connect with those people. And that was how we were able to build the business that we were able to build. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Because those people were able to say, this is my ticket to making the next promotion, and to building out this e-business and all that. And our commitment was to make them successful, so we would also be successful. That worked. That worked excellently well. And that, I think, works in every industry. Right? The reality of building startups is that two things, right? One is, I'm not an ideas guy, as you can see. Unlike most people believe, I'm not really the guy who comes
because
up
people
with
believe that you're an ideas guy.
I just take execution risk,
right,
where no one else will. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Take execution risk where no one else will.
Yeah, even the founders will not take the execution risk, as you notice, they were all at their jobs.
And given the way that we know and the way that we got here, it is important to acknowledge our way, God's way, as the way to achieve success, not just in today's business climate, but in any business climate. We are proud to represent God in the marketplace. We are proud to be seeking God's kingdom in the marketplace. We are proud to lead with our faith in the marketplace. And most importantly, we are proud to acknowledge that we have a God who assures us that the earth is his and its fullness thereof.
The way that the world system works, and this is something that I'm sure all of you acknowledge, being in Nigeria, is it operates on an exploitative principle of business. I win, you lose. We compete in the marketplace. So somebody must die before we can rise. And sometimes it's very easy to take that mentality with us as we talk about business in a competing marketplace. And our speakers are definitely educating us about the realities of the world. But oftentimes, from a point of view that we need to be competitive, we need to win. And it's a good thing. However, I think there are other ways. There are more godly ways to do business. And quite frankly, part of the problem that we have with the business community, with the Christian community, is that we have adopted the world system in trying to do business God's way. And naturally, there will be a clash. There's no question about it. What if business was built for service? What if it wasn't about making money? Now, what I didn't understand at the time was that businesses that are built for service have one significant disadvantage, which is that they require severe sacrifice. Honestly, that was an insight that completely changed my thinking and my life. Which brings me to the revelation that I really got from that, which is that God's approach to business is redemptive. I sacrifice, you win. And it took incredible amounts of sacrifice, I'll tell you, because we went from a business where I owned 70% to a business where I owned 10. But we had to work like we owned 100. We had to pay people to learn. It was a very radical idea at the time. Now it doesn't seem so radical anymore. But you can imagine 2014 telling people, come and learn. We will pay you salary. We will take care of your housing. We will take care of your food. And we will teach you. But you know, today, every one of those young people, you see what they have become. And you understand the impact of a business that serves. I do not believe that Nigeria's technology revolution would be possible today without that service. And I'm very grateful to everyone from the Andela side that participated in building that institution. Now, I took those lessons with me. As I continued to, we went on. We saw there was a gap with payments. We recognized something critical, that merchants were not being served by closed-loop payment systems that banks were running. And we decided, okay, we would create an open-loop payment system where merchants can accept any payments. I'm sure many of you remember what payments was like in 2016. You would have pay attitudes, pay with capture, pay this, pay that, pay. That was if you were a merchant that had means. If you were a mom and pop shop, you just had to revert to cash. Or the more dangerous, cash on delivery. That was what our society was like in 2016. But by identifying a point of service, we were able to revolutionize the industry. By determining that small businesses deserve to be able to accept any method of payment from anywhere, from anyone, around the world, across Africa, businesses launched off. Many, many businesses today will credit their global success to their ability to be able to accept electronic payments. That is what service can do. And so after Flutterwave, even in what I do today, my business today is service. Service to entrepreneurs. Acknowledging that entrepreneurs are very flawed beings
but people who have been handed a mantle and a mission by God to fix a societal problem, and then giving them the capital they need at the time they need it, early on, to be able to take those ideas to scale. And God has blessed our business. You know, we started this business in 2017, 2018. You know, the first check we got in was about $750,000. Those are the assets we had. In fact, we actually mortgaged our assets to get our first capital. Sacrifice is key. We could have lost everything, but we grew it. Today, we have $30 million in assets under management. I have only one institutional investor. People sometimes look at me, they compare me to people that are collecting money from DFIs, collecting money from big corporations. I don't have their money. Individuals. But the impact has been transformational. 60 businesses worth billions of dollars, changing lives. You know, a lot of us in this business environment, we justify a lot of stuff. You know, justify a lot of things that are unethical. And what God is telling us, quite frankly, is that it's not even enough to be ethical. What God is asking us to do, particularly in this season, is to build businesses, sacrifice to build businesses that will serve His people in these climates. God is looking for business people that will make sure soap remains a pound of soap, even with the economic conditions. God is looking for businesses that will serve their people fairly. They will make sure the 1,000 naira or 200 naira of food is really 200 naira of food without taking excessive profits. That is what God is looking for. God is not interested in worldly success, the success of the world system, where we make billions of dollars but we don't impact anybody's lives. It's a foul smell to our God. So I'm challenging all of us today. I don't have any secrets of success for you. I don't have any business philosophy. I'm telling you what changed my life. And it's this approach to godly success. Sacrifice and service.